I just shine a flashlight over there. You can see it glowing very good. And actually, one time I was driving a flatbed truck, and the DOT pulled me over and wrote me it wasn't a ticket you had to pay, but you have to get to shop to fix it and submit paperwork to say it's fixed. But I got a ticket for not having reflective tape on the side of the flatbed truck I was driving. And all your big trucks you see on the road have it. It just helps drivers see how close they are to you and things like that. When I showed my little generator that I use to keep from using the big one just to charge batteries, I didn't have it mounted, but I put the mount on there and showed how I can tie it down and just leave it right there if I want to. If I'm not going to travel a long way, of course, I can take it off easily and put it in the side compartment. And this much fuel will run it for about 2 hours. So it's you don't have to do it every couple of days if you're boondocking. And I mounted a spare tire. I mentioned that. Another thing, I went on the roof and really cleaned it with bleach. I put the bleach on there and scrubbed it all one day and let the bleach dry overnight. The next day I re-bleached it, cleaned it all up, and inspected it. You got to seal the cracks. I have a whole video on that. Okay, another thing, I have a valve that can drain my shower water, because we don't use much water except for showers. We use paper plates, and we don't wash dishes to conserve water. And so if you get a T and just cut a little piece out of your line here, you can put in a valve. And the valve costs $10, and you can run a wire to the battery and put a switch in there. Just flip the switch and it'll drain the water out of your shower water when you want to. And so I originally, in another video, I showed how I went into the tank at a place you could unscrew a plug, but that was too high. It didn't drain for the bottom. So it's pretty easy to do this. And also, doing it that way, when I went in with the T, I could put a screen inside to keep anything from blocking or getting into the valve. Now, I don't know why, but the valves have some delay on them. Another thing we've done is went to our things like this in our vents and put in screen wire like this right here. And because bugs can go through there. And also did it here. They sell a kit for about $8. You'll get the screen here, but they don't send very many zip ties to hold it in. It's best, in my opinion, even though this is plastic, it's best in my opinion to use steel wire. And we just use some threads, very, very strong thread you can buy at Walmart for putting beads to make a necklace. You cannot break it. It'll hurt your hand so bad. You have to cut it. So we just kind of sewed it in there, because bugs get all in there, especially those dirt daubers and wasps. And I thought, well, this one should be okay here. It's got a screen, with holes. But I said, let me test it. So I caught a mud dauber with my butterfly net and put him in a jar and laid this screen, which is the same size, on top. He went out that so quick it wasn't even like there. So I took this off and got to looking. I don't know if you can see back in there, but there's a big mud dauber back in there. So he's been going in and out of that. So I'm gonna have to put a screen over that. That's kind of wrapping up the things that I can remember now that I didn't remember on the last one. Also, I had this. It'll go into the receiver back there, the tow receiver, and carry a big generator like that yellow one over there. I used to have that on the older motorhome. So I could take off the little one that my small 1,000-watt generator charges my batteries with, and put that one on if I want to. I just show you a few things here. One thing I found, on my generator, I'm using a 2-stroke, so it doesn't have oil. The oil has to be mixed with the fuel. And I found, well, I've been using this for years for chainsaws. Chainsaws are 2-stroke, and they need the oil mixture. So I can fill it up to about here on one of these. I don't know, things like I have onset diabetes, but fill up these bottles to about right here. And I always like to put a little bit of octane booster. That's only $1 at the Dollar Tree, and it helps crank it better. And occasionally, especially with the new generator, this 2-cycle, it's a lubricant and a fuel stabilizer. that's only $1 at Walmart, but when you're breaking in a new generator, it's a good idea to have it. Of course, that zip ties for tying up the extension cord and things like that. Here's something I probably won't carry, but I had it in North Dakota, and I have pulled so many people after the snow and ice, pulled them out of stuff. And it's pretty good to have. You know, you might get stuck in. Just be careful. You need to put the hook through the loop and hook it on there. My friend had some kind of hook on here, and he wrapped it around and connected it to the other side. It came across, and it had so much tension, and when it slipped off, he was on a tractor pulling somebody out of a bog, and he saw it coming, and he turned his head, and it still hit him near his ear and blacked his eye and everything. If it hit him in the middle of the head, it could have killed him. Here's something I'm going to do. If you see the monster trucks, they have so many shocks, and this F-53 has the poorest suspension system on any vehicle I've ever been on. So normally, this is just simulating where the hole where you would have your shock mounted. Now what they can do is just add another shock. So a lot of RVs now have quad shocks on the front and the back. So in order to do that, you just need a longer bolt. This would be bolted to here. But take something to make a spacer, then when you put the other one on, supposing your bolt will be long enough and they'll be side by side. So it's not that big a deal to put an extra shock absorber on both sides. And from what I've seen, it will work. One last thing. If you want to cover your motorhome, which you should do, it'll keep the bugs out, it'll keep stains and stuff like that off if you don't have a shed to put it under. You can buy a giant tarp. It's really hard to work with, but you can buy one, and it's like $150 from Harbor Freight. But you can buy two that mount up to the same size for $29 a piece. So for $60, you can cover your motorhome and protect it if you're in somewhere and like not using it, or you're somewhere you just want to keep the dust out and everything. Some people go through a dust storm and it puts so much dirt in they almost never get it out. Of course, you need some of these straps that are only like $3 a piece. I think it's $12 for the whole thing to strap it down. But you can use that, and so for $60 you can save half the money, and it'll be easier to work with to put two pieces of tarp over your RV. Okay, well, everybody knows that by now that I just wing it in my videos. I used to be a perfectionist, but I found I wasn't getting very much done, actually finished and put out. So I saw somewhere where somebody said anything worth doing is worth doing half-ass. So these videos I make, I just do the best I can. I wing it, and I don't really want to stop and look at notes and all that. So if you enjoy it, nobody's paying me for this. If they were, maybe I'd start editing, but for now, this is what you get. So be safe out there, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.